Catherine Carpenter reports.
Vigilantes straight out of the Wild West in Harrow East, heading for a showdown with this man. Tony McNulty, constituency MP since 1997, Blairite local boy.
He isn't the only MP we're doing this with across the country, and you know, if MPs are going to listen to people, we're going to kind of break through the kind of apathy and distrust that has been growing for a number of years now. We really have to, be a bit kind of confrontational in some ways.
The group is targeting MPs from all parties in its campaign to reform Parliament, and it wants a voter showdown with Mr McNulty.
And here's why. Caught up in the expenses scandal, Mr McNulty was forced to repay nearly £14,000, resign his ministerial posts and apologise to the Commons after using taxpayers' money to effectively subsidise his parents, living here at his second home in Harrow.
So could this be the last chance salon for the former Minister for London? There's no doubt he's a well-known face locally, but can he escape the long shadow of the expenses scandal?
I'd be foolish if I said it wasn't raised on the doorstep. They need to look at that alongside all the other things that I do as MP. I've got a good, strong local reputation for delivering for people, both individually and otherwise. And I would simply ask that that's been put into the mix, as well as judging me simply on that issue.
But on the streets, it's hard to escape that issue. It seems it could cause a standoff between voters and all the parties.
I think a lot of people have lost faith, with how things are, and obviously all the expensive, what's been going on.
So you haven't been put off by Tony McNulty and his expenses?
Not at all, no.
It doesn't matter who I want to vote for. I feel as if it's going to be the same thing over and over again.
This is one of the politicians hoping to win them over. A swing of just over 3% would see Conservative Bob Blackman take Harrow East, and he brought a big chief to town to help boost his chances.
The things that we're talking about, improving the economy locally, improving the position in terms of planning, improving the National Health Service, are all going down extremely well with the voters.
The Liberal Democrats are also promising to clean up this town with a focus on local issues.
National health, education, crime, these are the local issues which affected people locally and nationally. These are the issues people are concerned about, and I will be there to fight their corners.
This is one of London's most diverse constituencies. Tony McNulty and Labour have been entrenched here for 13 years. But with the expenses scandal and the effect of boundary changes, it could make rich pickings for the other parties.
We'll find out at the ballot box who's really wanted. Catherine Carpenter, BBC London News.
On the screen now is a full list of all the candidates standing in Harrow East, and you can find out more on all of them and other constituencies on our website. Well, tonight, BBC London is hosting a special election debate where Londoners will question representatives of the main parties on the issues that matter to them. It's taking place in Stratford, where we can join Alice van der Kravie right now. And how are things going there, Alice?
Hi, Riz. Well, going very well. The audience members have just filed in behind me and are taking their seats in the auditorium in preparation for this debate chaired by Andrew Neil. As you say, it's all about thrashing out and discussing the issues and policies which matter to Londoners the most. They're representatives of the three main parties: Tessa Jowell for Labour, of course, the Minister for London, Jeremy Hunt for the Conservatives, and Tom Brake for the Liberal Democrats. There are also representatives from some of the smaller parties, the Green Party, UKIP, and George Galloway for the Respect Party. Now, I spoke to some of the audience members just before they went in to hear about what mattered most to them.
I'd like to hear the parties talking about immigration, because I think that's a big issue for people in London. I'd also like to hear them talking about the Olympics.
I'd love to talk about employment, something that's affected me, something I'd love to hear talked about in general.
A lot of people that I know in my sort of local area in South East London have been affected by, whether it's mugging, sort of violent crime, and lots of people have been stabbed and murdered. So I'd like to know what the actual parties are considering doing about crime, especially in London at the minute.
Well, it's all about to start behind me in the auditorium, and you can watch it tonight after our news bulletin at 10 to 11 on BBC One, and also on our radio station, BBC London 94.9. Back to you, Riz.
Alice, thanks very much. To something completely different now. And renovating a roof isn't always the most spectacular of jobs,
But it's a bit different when the roof in question dates from Edwardian times and the cost of the restoration is around £35 million. That's what's going on at Paddington, one of the country's busiest train stations, and Aisha Baksh is there for us now. Aisha.
Well, Riz, I've put on my safety harness, helmet rather, and donned my safety boots, whoop, careful, and climbed high up in to the rafters of Paddington Station. Now, if you've had to catch a train recently to, say, Oxford or Bristol, you may have noticed parts of the platform are, well, frankly, a bit of a building site. And this is why 100-year-old steel girders, now eventually all the